So today I'll give a quick overview on how to access and navigate through the Fronius monitoring system. So if you open your web browser and go to www.solarweb.com, and here's where you input your username and password. I'll send that to you directly. Basically each user has their own specific account, which is password protected so that no changes can be made. So you can log in that way. Alternately, if you just want basic access, or if you want to give other people access to your monitoring system but don't want them to be able to edit anything, you can give them a different URL address, and they will be able to log in directly to the system, but they won't be able to make any changes. And basically this is what they will see, just a basic overview. But for the full access, type in your username and password and then go to login. Sorry, I think it's because I logged in as a guest. So if you go to www.solarweb.com and go to login, and here typically you don't get this screen. This screen appears if you have more than one system. So if you have two different site installations, you can see each one individually. As well, you can see the total generated by both systems together, both currently as well as the total energy that's been produced since they've been installed. So to get more detail on an individual system, you can click on it anywhere, and that will open up the screen. So on this screen you see the current power that's being generated, as well as the energy that's been generated today, and how much money that means, as well as the monthly, yearly, and totals, as well as your carbon dioxide savings. As well, if you choose to upload any pictures of your site, or basically any pictures that you choose, they will go here, as well as messages, which will display any kind of error or warning messages that your system has, since it has been installed. So here you see the current power. If you click on that box, it brings up the real-time screen. So you can see in this case we have two 10 kilowatts and a 5 kilowatt inverter. Now, in order to directly compare, this screen is pretty useful because it shows you how many kilowatts are being generated per kilowatt of peak performance. So the 5 kilowatts is producing half as much as the 10s, but you can see it's still at 40%, whereas the other two are around 45% of their rated power, because it's been a pretty cloudy day. So as well, you can click on the archive, and from this window you can see the total today by half-hour increments of what each individual inverter, as well as how much the total production has been for that half-hour stretch of time. You can also select on the day, and you can click through and select any day that you choose to see the output of. As well, you can see the monthly view, and again, if you click on the month, you can select which month you want to take a look at, and the same with the year, as well as there's a total overview here. So if you go back to the day, there's a few different options here. You can also see the voltage, the DC voltage, and the DC current going in. It's just more for your informational purposes. As well, you can change to see the kilowatts per kilowatt peak of performance. and you can adjust the scale, and here you can go through and see what each individual inverter has done for that specific time. So if you go back to the overview page, you can see how much energy has been produced today. And this one you can see it in 5-minute increments. And you can see when it got a little sunny there for a bit, but then it's clouded back over again. But it shows you what that system is producing at that particular time of the day. As well, you can get more detailed error messages. Now these messages are also sent directly to the email of the system owner and anyone else that you specify, such as the installer, if you want them to be automatically alerted whenever there's a problem. So you can see in this case here, the most recently was back in March and April, and basically what those messages were was that there was an energy deviation. So if one inverter is underperforming compared to the other inverters, it will give a message letting you know. So in many cases that indicates that there's a problem with the string, and it just really helps to for troubleshooting and to mitigate any lost time from when you decide to go and actually look at the inverters and make sure they're performing correctly. This does it automatically for you. So this gives you the total history as well of those messages. As well, if you go into the administration, this is where you can set up a lot of the different factors here. For your time zones, your currency, your CO2 factor. As well, this is where you can set your permissions to make your site public. And this is the URL that you would give to somebody so that they could access your system account without having to have your username and password. And with that guest account again, there is no way that they can change any of your settings or disrupt your system in any way. So another feature as well, they offer it on your, if you have an iPad or an iPhone, as well as an Android or a BlackBerry, there's free applications you can download and you can take a look at your site anywhere. As well as they have a Fronius Solar TV option. That's more of if you wanted to set up a display in a lobby or something like that. You could do that with either a smart TV that has internet access or with any kind of TV or display with the computer. So I'll give you a little demonstration of what that would look like. So you could leave this going 24/7 kind of thing in the lobby. It'll scroll through different screens that you select, as well as show a lot of live current data as well. So if you click here, it's where you set your username and password. As well, you can select which slides that you want to show. System information, you can put your logo or any kind of news that you have, any sales that are going on, whatever you'd like to do for your system. So you select that and click Start Slideshow, and we'll begin. And it'll continue as long as you have internet access. And that's basically a brief overview. If you have any questions, let me know.